Hopefully he will. No climb for Sam Bennett to worry about at the end today. In fact, nothing much on the route except an endless length of tarmac, 223.5 kilometres, the second longest of this year's tour. Tomorrow's been the longest at 237.5. The direction is south-southeast out of Normandy and into the Loire Valley. No hiding place for a breakaway and no excuse for the peloton to miscalculate the catch for what is as close to a guaranteed sprint finish as the final stage in Paris.
Well, Direct Energy, that was the team of Brian Coquard. And we've heard that Tulik, the man who lives in Angers, will be his last lead-out man to the line. He has won on this finishing line, but not in the Tour de France. He's had 13 wins for France. He would finish the day off nicely. His team have now taken control of the head of the peloton. That would be a surprise, but he's going to give it his best shot.
But they are still all queuing up behind him. We're looking for the next banner, 3 kilometres to go. That's about 3.5 minutes of effort. You've got to keep calm, though, at a moment like this. You can see Tony Martins, the first rider from Etixx Quick-Step in the black and blue jersey there. He has got serious firepower, and he knows he's got 3 teammates behind him. But he's waiting for the moment when he can open up the gas and maybe pace this whole main field for a good kilometre or so. But there's another big, look at this, looking for the right side of the road. They squeeze out the Lotto Soudal lead-out train there. Those are the riders in the red jerseys over behind them now.
Now on the left, it's Dimension Data. They're beginning to try and steer the green jersey of Mark Cavendish up as they get control at 3 kilometres out. Peter Sagan in the yellow jersey is switching around, searching for wheels just now. He's going to have to make the most of other people. He seems to be looking at Etixx just now.
Well, that looks like Janssen van Rensburg on the front for Dimension Data, but now all of a sudden Cofidis are getting involved in the mix. They used to have a great sprinter, Nasser Bouhanni, who didn't start the Tour de France because of injury, but they may well be looking after their bearded sprinter, Gerard Soupé. But it's now Fabian Cancellara coming up to the front end of the peloton too, but Dimension Data now starting to wind it up. That's Dimension Data coming to the front. I'm looking back to see where Cavendish is. In fact, he's losing the back wheel of his lead-out train, and he's getting boxed in. You've got to be patient, though. You've got to not panic at a moment like this and wait for the calm to come back to the main field and hope that the door is going to open up in front of you.
Well, also for Trek Segafredo there, it looks oh, there's another nasty split that always makes us jump out of our seat. A massive crowd shot. Left-hander, somebody's gone straight on the corner. It looks like it might well be the Orica riders, because they've got the yellow helmets, thank heaven. That was an Orica rider overshot the left-hander.
Dodgy corner. This is the last dodgy corner now. It really starts to widen up into the big boulevards. You can see over on the left-hand side, though, no panic. That's Marcel Kittel a little bit further back. But for the moment, advantage Marcel Kittel, Etixx Quick-Step and Dimension Data. They've still got 4 riders. I can see Edvald Bosenhagen just 2 riders in front of Mark Cavendish, who's moved up into 4th or 5th position. You've got to keep the pace nice and high now, Phil, because if you start to slow down at a moment like this, you get swamped. Not very far away either. Over on the left-hand side, I can see Michael Matthews there in the yellow helmet. Behind him, it's Andre Greipel in the white jersey. The yellow jersey still there too. Peter Sagan over the river.
Over the main and now heading in towards the finishing line. Michael Matthews, it was his teammate that didn't make it round the bend. His lead-out man, all likely under 1 kilometre to go. The sprinters are lining up now. It's a steady drag to the finish. We've just got the one kink round to the right when they get there. Well, they've all got themselves in the right position. Who is going to launch for the line? It has to be judged perfectly now, as it's Dylan Groenewold who's trying to take up the running here. He's being brought through the centre of the picture, but also breaking on the far right now is the turns, and now Cavendish still waiting. Greipel on his shoulder. There is the right-hand sweeper. Greipel has moved ahead of Mark Cavendish. Cavendish is in a perfect position now to try and launch this on the climb to the line.
Well, second position is Mark Renshaw, so he's going to wait for the last moment, but Greipel opens it up very early on, and Cavendish is right on his wheel, but so too is the yellow jersey of Peter Sagan.
As Cavendish is going, he's got the perfect shot at gold here. Cavendish is racing to the victory on the line. It looked well. Greipel thinks he's got it. Cavendish thinks he's got it. We'll wait and see. But boy, that was close.
It's all about getting the confidence. Cavendish stops very quickly there, looks across at his former teammate, Andre Greipel. I do believe, Phil, that was on the line. It went to Cavendish, and he's waiting. He's waiting for confirmation, as we are. can hear the French, Phil, shouting photo finish.
Oh, look at this. Cavendish on the line for me. Well, that gives him the second highest number of stage wins in the history of the sport. He won't believe Dougie Ryder, his manager, is waiting. Look at Greipel on the left, hand goes up, claiming it.
But that's not a sign of a man who's convinced.
It's not.
It's kind of maybe. Cavendish is the same. Watch this again. You can see Coquard just on the right-hand side, but Cavendish waiting. He's got that explosion that he had a number of years ago, and it's this track lunge, this lunge for the line, perfectly timed lunge that got him the win.
We promised everyone a brilliant sprint today with the best finishers in the world. They had to judge it right up this climb. It is a climb, by the way, and I think it's shaded by Mark Cavendish. His 28th historical victory in the Tour de France.
I don't think he's been told definitely that he's won. We've seen the photo finish and we give it to Mark Cavendish, but we have to wait for the officials. Well, we're just watching it from the sofa, if you like. I don't think there's any question there, Phil.
Normally not, but you know, it's when the wheel touches that black line. They're saying, and this is it, just under 6 hours today, Cavendish gets his victory over Andre Greipel. Brian Coquard tried, he was third. Peter Sagan was fourth, and Ed Toons came up late, but he finished fifth. Wow. Now we'll have to wait and see. But if it is the victory, it's the 28th victory for Mark Cavendish, and that puts him number 2 in the rankings of the Tour.
C'est bon, Cavendish. C'est bon? Yes. Allez, go.
Well, there it is. Confirmation. Well, we saw it with the photo finish before Mark Cavendish did, but he had to wait for the official announcement. Let's have a look at it again. The lunge for the line, and it was just that. I suppose it's the track experience of Mark Cavendish. Knows exactly how to throw his bike. Look at this one more time. Two great sprinters on the left, Andre Greipel. On the right, Mark Cavendish. Win number 20. Cavendish puts his hand in there, Greipel puts his hand in the air, but he wasn't 100% convinced there, and Cavendish goes, yeah, well, maybe.
Mark Cavendish, many congratulations. That was an astonishing sprint, very dramatic. No one knew what had happened, least of all you. Talk us through it.
I know when I win and lose a photo finish normally, and I thought I had it, but you just never know. Oh, it was phenomenal. It was so hairy in the finish, but we really planned this race, this stage. I knew you had to come from behind. It was uphill. Knew you had to run with speed. If you hit out early, someone was always going to come. And that's why when Mark went and I saw Greipel's go through, I wanted to be behind Greipel. Greipel, he does not like me last year. After I didn't win the first stage, I was anxious. I was hitting out too early, you know. I knew Andre would do the same in the final. I didn't plan it before. And so I knew he'd hit out because he didn't win the other day. And that was good. Actually, he had another wind. When I started to come past, I thought I would have it easy. And he went again. And it took me by surprise, actually. But I'm so happy to have got that. You know, the guys are phenomenal. Bernie did 20k in the win there. Edvard came, Rani came again. And Mark eventually in last K. Like, what can I say? That's superb. For Dimension Data, like, a lot of people were excited when we got the boys back together. Some people scoffed at it, you know, or past it. But we came here, we done our sponsors proud, and more importantly, you know, we're raising awareness of Quebec, so we're very happy with it.
Here's the official result. Cavendish, Greipel, Coquard was the 1, 2, 3, although such was the focus on the 1 and the 2 that the rest of the results sort of faded into the background. Peter Sagan was 4th, which astonishingly is his lowest finish in the 3 stages so far. Marcel Kittel was a disappointing 7th, Daniel Maclay a creditable 9th again in the sprint. Well, the Cavendish family had stayed on from stage one, so either they'd booked a driving holiday or they thought it was worth their while delaying departure until after today. Either way, the stage was set for another intergenerational podium presentation.
Centre of the world's attention once again, Mark Cavendish, and justifiably so. 138 professional wins, 3 on the Vuelta, 15 on the Giro d'Italia, 28 on the Tour de France. Joined on the podium by Delilah and Frey. They're getting used to this. Their father is the greatest sprinter on the Tour de France. Of that there is very little dispute. Bernardino, the man who he is drawn alongside in terms of overall stage victories on the Tour de France, acknowledging Cavendish's achievement.
And let's just put that achievement into its historical context. As Ned said, Mark Cavendish is now equal on wins with one of the great names in Tour history, with only the greatest Eddie Merckx still ahead of him. But if you take out time trial wins and just look at road stages, he's already out on his own. 6 clear of Andre Darrigard, 11 and 21 ahead of Merckx and Eno. Today's margin, of course, was agonising for the man who was on the losing side of it, and small enough that he initially thought he'd won.
Yeah, I mean, with Jürgen Rohlens, I think he brought me at the end in a really good position. And I think I just made one mistake that was a kind of reflex to put the biggest gear in, and if I would have kept it in the gear I had on, I think I would have made it at the end. We were hoping for a victory, but yeah, we try again.
Peter Sagan came close to extending his lead with a third-place time bonus, but nonetheless did more than enough to hold on to the yellow jersey. There was a slight reshuffle in the top 10, although not in the time gaps. Chris Froome now leads the group of riders 14 seconds behind Sagan, ahead of Warren Barguil and Nairo Quintana. Quintana moves up a place too as Greg Van Avermaet and Simon Gerrans drop out of the top 10, while Tony Gallopin and Fabio Aru move into it.
Peter, your hair is looking fantastic now. You're enjoying the look of a lion.
No, I never thought about it. I never think about to be like lion, but yeah, I am happy to hold the yellow jersey for tomorrow and come to the finish in one piece. It's good.
If you brought a big suitcase for all these different jerseys you're going to be winning here?
My father is here with the car, and we put everything in the car.
Extra capacity.
Yeah.
The Cavendish car boot is filling up pretty quickly too. As well as his second stage win, he now takes full possession of the green jersey he was keeping warm for Peter Sagan today.